play of the game from way down.
True, silence. Rainer getting absolutely
A team wipe.
The living bomb's going.
Oh my goodness, the ring. Bombstastic gonna find Rainer.
Oh, the life finder keeps Maev up. It was gonna be a close thing.
And healing, what? Get out of no! No!
Triple stun again. Big flanks coming out from the Blaze.
It's a death metal though.
Death metal into the double, triple kill.
Oh man, I do that every time. There we go. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Nexus Gaming Series, Season 7, Week 4. Tonight, I am joined by Psychic.
Hello. Hi. How are we doing? Aero?
And much like a puppy, you gotta poke the boy to wake him up.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Psychic. I wasn't actually asleep. He was.
No, he really was.
Joke?
He was. Definitely was.
You didn't have to. Okay.
So we're gonna see a game tonight. B West. No, B East. B East. Beast. Get it? B East. Anyways, we're gonna see this matchup between the real Ultimate Mosh Pit and Buff Chen.
Ooh, yeah, I know the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. They've been around for a while now.
Indeed. So
I recognize some of these names. Yeah, look at this. Cool.
I've got to tell him to tell me who to switch. Let me know who to switch. Or I guess I could just make one of them host and let them do it, right? I mean, that's a thing.
Theoretically.
Let's see. Make host.
Ooh, excuse me. It's been a long day. I'm in my pajamas. Not my pajamas. You know what I mean. My loungewear.
What? Oh, right. The ever-present blanket. Gotta
Always
get
here.
warmed up over there.
Always with me. Always in our hearts. The blanket.
Yeah. So you've got the blanket, and I've got fans all over the place, keeping me cool because it is rather warm here.
It is very hot out. Yeah. Although actually today wasn't that bad. Although it was outside for maybe a grand total of 45 seconds.
I got to meet my neighbor today, who moved in, I think, in March.
Okay.
Yeah, she's across the street. We're taking down a tree this week, so I figured it would be nice to let her know, just in case she might park out in front of her house for some reason, that there were going to be massive trucks out front. So, I don't remember her name, but she has a nice dog named Guinness.
Hey, look at that.
There you go.
That's how you'll love to see it, if anything.
Welcome, Hemibo and Mega Muffin. Glad that you could join us.
Yeah, let me open up you guys' chat real quick, or your chat rather. Let's see what are people saying on my phone-izzle.
Not a whole lot just at the moment.
That's fine.
Let's see here. So, while we are waiting on the teams to get the players on the right sides, let's go ahead and take a look at our maps, shall we?
We shall.
All right, so our map bans, we saw Alterac Pass and Battlefield of Eternity banned out by the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Okay. For Buff Chen, we have Braxis and Volskaya. And the map that we're going to go to first here, picked by Trump, is Infernal Shrines.
Cool. Infernal Shrines. No, this map sounds familiar. Tell me about it. Does it have anything cool on it? Does it have a Punisher? Does it have a bunch of camps that we can do?
No, it doesn't have any of that.
Oh.
Nobody's familiar with this map because it really very rarely gets played.
Yeah, I don't think anyone plays this.
Good, sorry. As long as you are. Okay. Yeah, so Infernal Shrines, yes, you do have those Punishers. Many camps. Camp timing being absolutely critical on a map such as Infernal Shrines, allowing you to put pressure in lanes that will allow you to get the Punisher. You have multiple types of Punishers, and they bring all kinds of value. And we're going to get this started But before we do that, I just want to pop up here real quick and show where these teams are in the standings. Which is to say that they are currently tied in a 3-way tie between Buff Chen, Regen Phoenix, and the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. At,
wow, look at
8th
that.
place.
Oh, look at that. So it's that big race. It's a race for 8th place in the Div B.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good.
That's good to hear though, because like as silly as that sounds, like that's still a playoff spot, you know, like that's important. This is important stuff, guys. But Anna's the first ban here.
I should probably put us over to the draft. Yeah, that eighth slot, and especially right now too. Oops, wrong one. Went to the standings. The you know, it's a little bit misleading because there have been 2 teams that dropped out from B East. And so those standings are a little bit awkward right now. You know, it shuffled around a lot of the standings. So we'll see kind of how that goes for the rest of the flex matches and matches that have been played. So, because teams that ultimately played against the 2 teams that dropped, you know, had their placements affected by that. So,
of course. Well,
so first pick's going to be Johanna.
Johanna.
So what do you think about Johanna on Infernal Shrines?
Infernal Shrines, I think she's fine here. Like, I don't think there's any maps she's particularly bad at per se. She's got like, you know, like with Condemn and whatnot, she can gather those skeleton boys on the objectives, and you know, she can hold bushes and whatnot, especially between the mid and bottom lanes. I think she's fine here. I don't love her like Diablo per se, but she's fine. She's fine. This too is my jam. Lucio is my jam, ladies and gentlemen. I like it. I like it a lot.
And how do you feel about him on Infernal Shrines? What do you like about him here?
What I like about him here, I like, since this is a rotational map, a bottom to mid rotational map, his speed boosts, especially with the amp it up, make it a lot faster to be able to rotate between the lanes. I love him on Tomb of the Spider Queen. I love him, well, literally everywhere, but Infernal Shrines is one of the maps that I would very much enjoy him on. He's got very nice not lockdown, excuse me, anti-lockdown, I guess, with sound barrier. Yeah, I like it a lot. And Kel'Thas, naturally good too.
Yeah, Kel'Thas being able to provide that living bomb onto a minion on these points gives them a lot of value.
Of course. And on the other side, because we haven't really talked about the real Ultimate Mosh Pit here, we see Greyman and Anduin. Also very standard. I think these are very generalist, I suppose, picks. Greyman is what I call a generalist, I suppose, damage dealer and a great camp taker. And I've been seeing a lot of hit play from him lately. But now Hanzo and Anubarak. I haven't seen the bug in a while.
He definitely has seen a lot less play lately between, you know, just bans across the board and and people electing to go with other heroes like ETC for the Mosh. And to round out the draft for Buff Chen, we see Ragnaros and Lunara.
Well, here's the thing. Let's go back and talk about my heroes here. Ragnaros, I don't love him in general. I think he just kind of doesn't do too much. However, if you're gonna take him on Infernal Shrines, because he's got Molten Cores that can reach the same lane's objective. If I'm talking just about objectives here today, aren't I?
Objectively speaking, yes.
Nice. Chen VP. Ragnaros, I don't think provides too much to team fights or anything in particular. Especially, he loses a lot of laning matchups. But with a Molten Core that can reach, like I said, from the same lane's objective, it is very helpful. Like the big explosion, I forget that. I don't know what the actual abilities are called. Apologize, but they can help out on the point, you know, stuff like that. And then Lunara's a nice damage to go along with Kel'Thas. She can get people low. Kel'Thas can finish them off. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then you've got you have a very dive-heavy front line, and even in theory, the Hanzo like can kind of initiate that dive with a good solid Dragon's Arrow. And you know, not to I mean, I wouldn't necessarily see it likely, but I mean, even Dragon Strike could have a place here on this map with these kind of narrow points. It could. They don't have really the lockdown, I think, for it, other than that route coming out from Anduin.
Right.
But maybe.
I've seen in chat they love Mega Muffin, excuse me. I apologize. Trump's team looks really exciting. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. They have a lovely dive comp going on there. I am partial to the Lucio, of course, and I kind of want to see this Ragnaros work. I want to be proven wrong. So I'm excited. I'm excited for both of these teams.
All right. Well, we're about to get started here. I'll go ahead and start off with the blue team. Okay. So for the real ultimate mosh pit, we've got Ralph the Dog on Greymane, seems appropriate. The AFK healer on Anduin, Denkstrom on Anubarak, Synchrony on Hanzo, and Idioms on Chen.
And on your right side, the red team, Buff Chen. We've got Lucio will be played by Cage Tai, Lunar will be played by Sosa, Middle Bear will be playing Johanna, Svix will be playing Ragnaros, and This'll Do will be playing Kel'Thas.
This'll do, yes, it will do, won't it?
Oh wow, I wonder if that's what that's supposed to mean.
I don't know.
Johanna getting super chunked here, wow, look at that.
So we do see Mana Addict, we see the... Cool. I don't remember the name of that talent, Engulfing Flame, Blast Wave. So... been seeing a fair amount of that out of the Ragnaros play lately.
Now I am going to judge this Lucio's build. What did he go? Party mix? Blech. Bleh. Show me a Celerondo. Go selfish, my man. Be selfish. You deserve it.
So we have the Stormbow talent for the target practice from Hanzo. Bold strategy coming out from Anduin, and that's interesting. You might call it a bold strategy, in fact.
Here we go. Kel'Thas is getting super chunked here after a double CC from Anubarak and Anduin, and goes down ultimately to Hanzo. That's a first kill for the real ultimate mosh pit.
And taking a look here up top, we do have Rag v Chen, and it's not so far going very well for the Rag. He's low on health. I'm not sure he's being. He's calling that he's retreating, letting his team know. He's just outside of the vision of Chen there.
Looks like Lunar is going to go cover for him for a bit.
But with that pressure coming out from Chen, it's going to allow the real ultimate mosh pit to get value in grabbing this first camp, and they're even going to come down here and get the second camp.
Wonderful.
And one of the things that, we didn't really get a chance to talk about it when we were in the draft there, but that first Greymane Anduin pickup, you got to remember that Anduin has that leap of faith on a 90-second cooldown roughly, but that's 80 seconds. That's still that's pretty much every fight, almost.
Pretty much,
and
yeah.
We just missed Chen right up here.
Looks like he died somewhere around the between mid and top lane.
Yeah, he was in the mid lane and got collapsed by the Lunara and Kel'Thas and Rag. I just missed the actual, I saw it on the map and I was just changing there. Yep. But with that, we're going to get an invade call here. Greymane Anubarak saying, you know what, maybe not. There's not quite enough time for all that.
That's fine, I suppose.
So what I was going to say is that the Leap of Faith Greymane allows Greymane to be a little bit more aggressive than maybe he normally would be. So
without a doubt, yeah. It gives him a fail-safe, if anything, for him to get out if things get too hairy.
It also gives Chen kind of that same circumstance, because a lot of Chens you see going deep in and
just kind of be a bother, it's encumbering. Yeah.
Staggering their way to victory. But here we start with a fight over the shrine. We're already almost at 10 here for Trump. And look at how close these teams are together. This should be just massive value. Yeah. I want to see more living bombs happening as Root does land onto Ragnaros. SVX pulling back, gets stunned by Anubarak, but Middle Bear coming in with the big condemn, but hits 3. Rag still in trouble, is going to die, but look at the living bombs going out, taking out Chen and Greymane ultimately Chen falling to the Lunara damage, but I'm calling it from the Living Bomb.
Truly, truly remarkable. The ability to press W. Dangstrom's still in trouble, but guess what? Underwind says no. Truly remarkable.
He probably pressed D and W.
That's true.
Lunara,
He probably
though, Sosa getting caught out by the Anubrak. But ultimately,
Johanna
it looks
also
like it's
not
gonna
doing
make out.
too hot either. But they managed to get away.
Yeah. With the only damage being Hanzo and a whole lot of minions in between him and them, it was relatively safe. So first Punisher is going to be an Arcane Punisher going over to buff Chen.
All right. Lunara's going to go break off and do her own thing, but the Punisher's just pounding on these boys and girls on the left. Can they find anything? Not really. The siege from buff Chen doesn't seem to be particularly powerful since Lunara's gone. All they managed to get out of that was a front wall.
Yeah, and when you consider that you've got Greymane and Hanzo on the other side, that's a pretty quick melt on the Punisher too.
Absolutely.
So looks like one of them, I'm assuming that was on the red team, is calling that they're backing away.
Boombox from Lucio. I like it. I like it a lot.
And Sonic Aero scouting out the Johanna. Actually, it may have been Chen calling that he was going to come down for this fight. As it's now a 5 versus 4 down here. Lunara is still in the mid lane getting that soak. As the real Ultimate Mosh Pit is picking up this bottom camp.
I'm wondering if that was really valuable for them, because there's still 4 people down here, and Lunara was off soaking, doing her own thing. But here she comes. Maybe she wants to help protect here, looking like that.
And this is where you get the opposite, right? Because you had Lunara soaking in the middle. Now Chen's going to go soak in the middle. The teams are splitting up, heading to their individual camps. 5 on the red side, 2 on the blue side, with the anchor of Anubrak.
Of course.
Next Punisher is going to be a Mortar Punisher. It looks like both of these teams are approaching 10 pretty close to the same. So I expect this will be quite a big fight when they get into 10 here. Johanna going in 4v3, didn't know that Anubrak was there. Chen's coming in, and Kael'thas being the one to pay for it from the Anubrak dive. And that was what, who was it? Megamuffin was talking about. Can Johanna and Lucio even peel this? And the question, at least, the answer at that time was no.
I think Chen just came too quickly, or Chen, excuse me, Anubrak came too quickly, and Chen did too, for that matter. The dive was just too much for, I think, even a mess the player to really react to.
Yeah, and I don't think he's got, he doesn't quite have enough for that shield from Mana Addict either, so he's getting close, but not quite there. I do like the Subdue talent, especially considering that they're going to have a 3 frontline potentially when Greymane dives, and of course Panda Pals. Storm, Earth, and Fire are going to show up at some point here, and if they can get that 4-man, it's even better. But even just getting 2 people with the Punish and that 80% slow can be phenomenal, especially when you're trying to save people in your backline.
Aero, we haven't even discussed heroics yet.
Oh, well, by all means.
All right, let's take a look at my side, buff Chen's. We've got Sound Barrier, no surprise, Leaping Strike, Blessed Shield, Lava Wave, and Pyroblast. Ooh, this is gonna be fun.
Interesting. So we've got, for the real Ultimate Mosh Pit, we've got Cocoon, Dragon's Arrow, so no Dragon Strike this game, Storm, Earth, and Fire, Light Bomb, and Cursed Bullet. And you know what? I don't know about the Cursed Bullet, but there's the dive in, followed up by the Dragon. Light Bomb coming out as well. Hits 2. Cocoon going out onto Kael'thas. Chen chasing after the Ragnaros. Zooming out so we can see that. And there's that Leap of Faith onto the Wolfman, keeping him out of the fight there as he was going to go down. But it is going to be the Pyroblast that finishes off Hanzo.
My goodness. Call me biased. Call me biased. I think Lucio won that fight. The Sound Barrier there was tremendous. It kept it took all of their damage, and he said no. And he managed to burn that Cocoon on Kael'thas very quickly because he has 4 auto attacks at once. So very well done by their Cage Tie. But Chen's in a bit of trouble here, but he's going to whip out the Panda Pals. Here they come. They're going to go ahead and find themselves a Ragnaros, potentially. There it is. But in exchange, maybe an Anubarak death. Molten Core was popped in... excuse me, not Molten Core. Lava Wave was popped in the middle lane. It's going to clear that out, but no one really taking any damage from it.
Very close. Only 3 more to go for the red team. Dangstrom going back in. Lunara very low. Light Bomb does hit onto Johanna. Lunara dies there thanks to the Hanzo and missing the Dragon's Arrow. Greymane now, the next one to go down. So 33 to 37. They only need 3 more, but they're all on the other side. So very difficult. And I don't think the middle bear should go. Yeah, okay, good. I was going to say, I don't think the middle bear should go into this.
No, I wouldn't. It's gone at that point.
So what I was going to say, I think that Greymane missed the mark here. I think that Curse Bullet, helps you, sure, with 1 target, but you have so much CC dive that I really think, and as low health bars as these buff Chen players have, I think that the go for the throat would have been the call.
I 100% agree. I was watching a game earlier on in the evening where with a similar scenario, I think the main tank on the other team was Diablo, which, okay, that's very nice. But the rest of your team is things like Li Ming and stuff like that. But my point is, I think go for the throat was the play there, and I think it was the play here. So Curse Bullet's nice. It did get a buff, I think. But, ultimately, I think that go for the throat was the play. I agree.
Yeah, and not only that, like, if you can if you can just CC and blow up the tank, okay, fine, but you can't. It's Johanna, right? I mean, she's gonna Iron Skin and walk away from whatever CC chain that you pop onto her, and then where do you go? You don't have a Varian to break the shield. You don't have, any way to really burn through that. So at that point, you're now, yeah, okay, you got Johanna low maybe, but.
And there it is.
Thank you. I was gonna say.
there it is.
For proving my point, Middle Bear. I appreciate it. And maybe if they had the 1 more stun, like, they do have pretty solid potential lockdown with the Dragon's Arrow, with the Light Bomb, with Anubarak's Burrow Charge, and Impale, but that's a lot to coordinate on 1 target and hope that it is enough to kill, because if she for a split second gets out of that stun and pops that Iron Skin, then your combo is garbage and now you have to back away because you can't kill anybody.
Absolutely. Yeah, it makes sense. I'm noticing these teams sticking together as 5 quite a bit, not catching a whole lot of soak together.
So I do want to point out one other thing, like, we've got the Lucio dropping the boombox here. Anything about that positioning that maybe you like or dislike?
I don't love it. You can put it in bushes. What I like to use boombox for isn't necessarily to extend my reach. It's more for providing vision and things like that. Now, it doesn't reveal enemies per se, but anyone who enters its area is shown on their map, or on your map. So I like to put it in bushes or places where.
Hold up here, Chen getting caught out. He did get stunned there, but he did use stagger, so he's trying to use shields to get out of it. And there's the short-range Dragon's Arrow, but it was on Lucio instead of trying to get that Lunara kill.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Go on.
Oh, so sorry. Yeah, I like putting boombox in places where enemies might rotate or invade, something like that.
And I think, where it was posted there, it was a couple of feet away from a stealth location, so I think that would have been given them a lot more value.
Where it is right now on the let's not talk about that just yet. A light bomb coming out on top of a Anubarak. It's going to hit 3 people, but Anduin's getting punched out in the back line, as is Hanzo. Most of this buff Chen team is ignoring the front. Let's
Chen
break it down.
Can really make the difference though, because Ragnaros is almost dead. So is Lunara. If he goes in hard, they could get these kills, but instead they're going on to Johanna. So they did get the 1 kill onto Johanna, and that's going to leave buff Chen in a point where they have to pull back. They have absolutely no front line. And now they're going to start. Trump's going to start the shrine.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, can Lunara, oh my god, Lucio and Johanna really peel this? I'm starting to think the answer is no. The dive coming from the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit is just too much for them to handle, I think. Assuming Johanna has her Iron Skin down, that is. Here comes another dive from Anubarak.
Yeah,
Greymane following up, but too far.
I think really a questionable play. Like, what value do you get out of poking this? You get absolutely nothing. You've gotten 2 minions. You're putting yourself at risk. You're already at half health on Lunara. Somebody else is pretty low. Johanna just now coming back. They're already there. They already have the minions. Why are you even here? You could have been getting soaked in 2 other lanes for a good 45 seconds of that safely,
I
and
suppose
then
Lava
come
Wave
back here.
make up for that. Take a look, top lane. It's coming down that way.
Yeah.
But I like this. I like this. Big come around from Nubarak here and the rest of the team. They managed to interrupt the Molten Core from Ragnaros, and he dies as a result of it. Punisher just pounding this fort, and Lunara's going to be the next one to go down. Chen diving in on our friend Kel'Thas too, and Lucio too slow to bring out the sound barrier. Oh no.
So a 3-for-0 in favor of the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit, and getting this Frozen Punisher, allowing them to shut down the structures, really helped them out. They took enough time taking that route to make sure that the Punisher leapt over the wall onto Johanna, and then they were able to make use of that CC chain. So really solid play. Great call, awareness of the enemy team for them to do that.
Absolutely, and they managed to get a keep out of it with the 3 kills. I really, really liked that flank there. I couldn't think of the word. I'm sorry, guys. I got excited. I really liked that flank, and I see Wraithling in chat asking the real questions. Why is there no Bouger? We need more Bouger.
That's a great question.
Yes, the interrupt on Molten Core was very good. It definitely managed to secure that team fight, without a doubt in my mind.
Yeah, but not only that, keep in mind again, you know, the thing that we said earlier about the Johanna, like, Iron Skin preventing the CC chain that could kill her, you know, they waited long enough for the Punisher to jump, which meant she used her Iron Skin, and that put her vulnerable just as anybody else. Now, they ultimately didn't end up going after her, of course, because they were positioned in a better way to get Kael'thas and Lunara and Ragnaros. And if you can get all of the DPS off of the map, then why wouldn't you, of course? But being aware of the single cooldown on the entire enemy team that can really shut down your play is they're looking really strong in this game.
Absolutely. Lava Wave going bottom, that's going to clear up a lot of pressure. But here's the real talk of the thing, the game. The top fight, Light Bomb going on a Nubarak once again. Curse Bullet landing on Kael'Thas this time. Cocoon goes out onto Lucio, but not a whole lot doing there. They managed to get out. Holy cow.
No, there's no ETC in this, but...
Did I say ETC?
You said holy cow.
Oh.
So the Dragon's Arrow missed. If that was a hit, Kael'Thas was definitely dead. And also on top of that, Kael'Thas did get caught by the Chastise right at the wall. If there was any splash damage, a Screaming Cocktail or even an Impale might have been enough. He only had about 200 hit points. Might have been enough to get them that kill. Certainly if that Dragon Arrow hits, then that's a dead mage.
Oh, big time. So
very close. Good play on both teams to ultimately walk out with no deaths.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, though, I think it was 4 ults used in exchange for, well, I suppose 2, technically, because Lava Wave. Blessed Shield was popped, but that's such a short cooldown, it's back already. Ultimately, I think Buff Chen, I guess in quotation marks, won that team fight.
Yeah, and you know what? They came down. They had a bush gank. Once they saw that Anubarak was up in the top lane, they went ahead, knocked over that bottom fort. You know, this next Punisher being a Mortar Punisher in the mid lane. They've gotten a wall down in the mid. The favor is definitely on the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit side, as they don't have a fort. So if they win this fight, it goes straight into keep. If they win the fight and get a kill or two, it could be game. And they've got level 20s coming up.
Here it comes. It's coming. I'm feeling it. So if you're red team, what do you do, Aero? What are you thinking?
Well, you gather as many of these as you can, and then maybe you get out of dodge and go try to soak somewhere. You know, they're going to be a little bit behind. We do see those level 20s coming up for the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit, and you know, they've got Chen right in the backline, but he's Chen. He's staggering all of this damage. And there goes Storm, Earth, and Fire. They probably wanted this fight, but ultimately aren't going to take it. Chen, having used his ultimate, said, I'm going to go ahead and go in anyways, and now is pulling away as 2 of his pandas are gone.
Only the, I think that's the Storm one got out.
Yeah, so 2 ultimates used as Lava Wave and Blessed Shield. Anubarak diving in doesn't hit anybody, but Cocoon goes out. Greymane, however, is all over Lunara, and Hanzo finishes off the Ragnaros, and now Johanna, trying to make her way out as well, is getting body blacked. And that could be the end for her. Chen has a Pyro coming in, but he's not really the hero that you want to put a Pyro on. He's got multiple ways to mitigate that damage. And Mortar Punisher coming out. And this is why I was saying I think that, you know, they should back off, go soak the lane, you know, try to get to level 20. It's going to be easier to defend the Punisher at level 20 than to try to take a fight at 20 versus 18.
Absolutely.
And now they don't have anybody soaking his lanes because 3 of them are dead. You don't have Lava Wave for another 50 seconds, so you're not going to be able to get level 20 out of that. And this is not looking very good if you're the red team. You're going to have to take an uneven fight, 20 versus 19. Maybe you get some time where you have 4 out of 5, but Johanna's dead for a really long time with a 80% health Punisher here.
Yeah, I don't think this is... I think it's already done. With a Greymane at level 21, I think this is long gone. Yeah.
What happened to the health of that core?
It went bye-bye. Core went bye-bye, but GG to the real Ultimate Mosh Pit.
So game number 1 going over to the real Ultimate Mosh Pit, and that was their map pick. So we'll see what we get out of map number 2. 12 kills to 5. Anubarak and Anduin never dying in that game. The feeders here being Chen and Greymane on the side of the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Lucio also never died. So that's good. 4 deaths coming out of Ragnaros. And damage numbers, look at that, buddy. Chen, number 1 for the blue team. Only beat in this game by Lunara.
That's wacky. He was the solo laner, and he had the most damage. That's funny. I like that. That's
all that Storm, Earth, and Fire.
Yeah, I guess so.
Take a look at those talents again here. Obviously, level 20 not quite achieved for Buff Chen.
No.
Who is this casting with me, Aero? Hey, would you like to introduce yourself to our audience out there?
Sure. I am Recyclic. I am a Recyclic. I am the Season 6 Division C champion. One of them.
Grand champion.
Grand champion. Excuse me. Grand champion. Excuse me.
Clarify.
Wow. I like to wear blankets and wear lounge clothes as soon as I get home from work. So, I also enjoy long walks on the beach. You know, call me. You can find me at Recyclic on literally everything. I am a healer player. I judge Lucio's very thoroughly. This one did fine. I liked his talents for the most part. Only one I don't like is Party Mix, but that's all right. Yeah, but that's who I am. I've known Aero for what, a year now? I think like a year and a month.
Yeah, it's something like that now, I suppose. Yeah. Somewhere around that.
It's pretty dope, actually.
Yeah. And what are we doing in a few months, Rek?
That would be BlizzCon, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're there, hit me up, or don't.
You could say hit us up.
Oh, true.
I'm gonna be there too, jerk.
We are going like together too. We're gonna be holding hands the whole time. It's gonna be great.
Only because he doesn't like to fly.
No, I like flying. I just don't like airports.
Fair enough.
That's the difference.
You really do make it sound like we're going to this together. And yes, we technically are going to this together.
We are.
Well, okay. So, how are you fine people in chat doing tonight?
Hope everyone's having a good night. I feel a little wacky today. Yeah. I woke up this morning feeling eh. And then I took a nap, and then when I woke up, my throat was like on fire for like 10 seconds, and then it was fine. And I went, oh boy.
All right.
This is an indicator of something, I think.
Gonorrhea. Sorry, Rek. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have our map selection for game number 2. we're gonna go. Oh, I didn't update. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up.
Hold everything, guys. Hold on, please.
There we go. We're going to Cursed Hollow. And it is the selection of the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Once again, as Buff Chen elected to take first pick.
Well then, that is a bold move, I guess. He must have a certain strategy in mind. I like it.
Thanks, Bigsby. Appreciate the bits for BlizzCon. You know, I actually, you know, as long as we're talking about going to BlizzCon with people here, I actually went to BlizzCon with Bigsby's brother a few years ago. Good friend of mine.
Oh, okay. And you got $1 out of it. Look at that.
$1. Yay.
Awesome.
Much appreciated. Hopefully these teams can get set up on their correct sides. So, in case you're wondering about what I'll be doing the rest of this week, why don't we take a look at my schedule? So, obviously, tonight is Thursday. I do have a cast tomorrow with Bloodbath and Beyond versus Disturbance. That's a D West. We also, Rec won't be joining me for this because it's a little bit late, but we may actually pick up another game after this one between Spooky Ghosts and Reborn Knights White, who changed their name from Running with Turtles. That starts at 10:30 Eastern, so it's not yet on the schedule because it depends on what happens with this game. If this game goes long, then obviously I don't want to make them wait on me. But you may have also seen on there the Sunday replay casting. Well, let me just tell all of you fine people and my good friend Rec, we'll go ahead and just announce this here and now, that Sunday, that show will not be found on twitch.tv/Aero the Storm. It will actually be found at twitch.tv/Nexus Gaming Series, as this will be a new official weekly program of the Nexus Gaming Series called the NGS Rewind.
Wow. Truly amazing. Tell me more, Aero.
So the NGS Rewind will be basically a theme of replay casts from the week prior. Casts that unfortunately were not able to be caught by casters just because of scheduling. And so ultimately it allows us a little bit more time to take a look at what's happening within these matches. And ideally, this may not happen this weekend, but ideally may even be able to have a little bit of post-game analysis that goes a little bit deeper into some of the statistics of what happened with the teams, what happened with the match, and some of the things you might see, you know, perhaps in like a Stats of the Storm or Heroes Profile, but we'll be able to do that in a little bit more real time because the games have already happened.
Huh.
But guess what? We're in a draft. Let me hop over that.
Yeah, let's go do that.
Hey, did you write down the bands from the first game?
Oh, you know who didn't? That'd be me. It was Anna and ETC from Buff Chen, and then their third was... I don't remember.
I don't remember either. Whatever.
Oh darn. Sorry, guys. I failed. But Sylvanas being banned out this time by Trump. Oh, look at that. Buff Chen's going to ban the same two things, Anna and ETC. So this is not a real Ultimate Mosh Pit. This is just something else entirely.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and write these down. I think Sylvanas was banned last game too, now that I think about it, because I remember there being 2 female bans. I don't think Alex Straza was banned. Do you think?
Yes, she was. Yes, she was. Yes, she was.
Okay.
Yes, she was. I do remember that.
All right, then. Fair enough.
I'm actually going to make a point of that.
Cat Peach and Minra, thanks for the follow this evening. Oh, look, it's an Abathur.
Organism Abathur. With all of us. I'm not very good at that voice. I'll work on it.
I mean, it's better than your white mane.
We don't talk about my white mane voice. Gray mane once again. This time, oh, that's very funny. It's gonna be played by Rolf the dog. Gray mane.
I mean, really, there are only 2 heroes that Rolf the dog should be playing, right?
Who's the other one?
Rhaegar.
Oh, true. Muradin Vala. Vala's kind of coming back a little bit with those health buffs. The health buffs that she very much deserved, if you ask me. I don't even play Vala, and I think she needed them.
Yeah, it was very awkward having Tracer actually have more health than Vala. Not anymore, but it was that way until the buff. Not by much, but enough. So we see a Thrall ban. Thrall with Abathur can do some serious work, so that's not too crazy.
No, not necessarily.
So, Rek, do a little bit of talking here.
Yeah, I'll do a little bit of talking. Falstad and Greymane, they're going for very heavy aggro. That's what I'm seeing already. This is kind of, I suppose, an issue, I guess, with showing your DPS early. You kind of telecast, hey, this is what we're doing. But luckily, here's the interesting part. Since the tank has been held for so long for a real Ultimate Mosh Pit, they could be doing something wacky like a Mal'Ganis, or well, that's not even that wacky, you know what I mean? But oh, there it is, Tyrael, cool. Healer also being held. Don't say it. I know what you're thinking.
No, they've got Tyrande.
Yeah,
but they could still do it.
no.
I
know what you're thinking. No.
I mean, they could do it.
No.
And this would be a good team to do it against.
Yeah, not wrong. I suppose.
Because what are they going to do about it?
Uther, that's what they're going to do about it, baby. I love Uther Abathur. Oh, Abuther. Oh, very excited about this one. Cage Tai going to be picking up Uther. No. See, I told you.
I mean, I agree, because they already had the Tyrande, but I think they could have. I think that they might have gotten a lot of value if they had.
It's silly to say, but I think you're right. I'm not saying the two forbidden words. Not
yeah, we don't need to actually
tell our audience what we're thinking.
Yeah, exactly. nobody out there gives a shit.
No. Imperious. Okay, yeah, that's fine. But I really cannot wait to see this Uther. I'm very excited for this. I hope this is well practiced. Look, they have tons of stuns on this side. Buff Chen. I'm gonna be biased. I like their draft a lot. I like it. I really like it. That being said, I do love Tyrael. I love seeing Angel games. And unfortunately, Oriole won't be playing in Angel games because this is one foggy, cursed hollow evening. I'm trying really hard here. Anyway, the macro play coming from Real Ultimate Mosh Pit should be pretty crazy, to be honest. Like, they have the camp takers in Greymane and Falstad. But here we go. We're in game now. Aero, why don't you start us off?
Alrighty then. Let me. Oh, you know what I need to do? I need to put us on the right page. Bam. Now we're on the right page. Let's see. So let's pop these up. There we go. All right. So for the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit, we have Ralph the Dog on Greymane, the AFK Healer on Tyrande, Dankstrom on Tyrael, Synchrony on Falstad, Idioms on Malthael.
And for Buff Chen, we have Cage Tai playing Uther. This will do. Controls, some Alpha. SVX will be playing Imperious, Middlebear on Muradin, and Sosa will be playing Vala.
Alrighty.
Oh no, we got hit by an owl to run most damage. Get good, everybody.
Rank 1.
Rank 1.
So, what do you see out of these early talents that have been selected so far?
W from Uther. Okay, yeah, that's fine. The Wave of Light. Yeah, not W. Abathur's looks pretty good too. Burn the Impure. Third Wind. Oh, dude, go crazy. Go Perfect Storm. Show me the Perfect Storm next time. And Hot Pursuit from Vala. Nothing too crazy. I think this is pretty standard. I honestly would have minded like Hammer of the Lightbringer, I think it's called, at 1 from Uther, which is the auto attacks quest. It reduces once you hit 75 enemies using your auto attacks. You can your autos reduce the cooldown of your E ability, which I'm blanking tonight, guys. I'm so sorry. It is called Hammer of Justice, the big stun, the big Uther stun that we all know and love. So I think that could have been good, but I don't hate Wave of Light either. It'll help with damage mitigation, especially if he's the main healer here. He has to hit those heals onto both allies and enemies. Meridian's actually doing a great job bottom lane. Look at that. But in addition to other talents, on the other side, we have Justice for All, no big surprise. Wingman, also not a big surprise. Elun's Chosen and On a Pale Horse, all standard. And Wolfheart, which I'm a little surprised by. I usually see Viciousness coming from Rayman, but hey, more power to you if you want to use Wolfheart. Camp being picked up already by Vala for buff Chen. I don't think it's necessarily too early. I think this is a good time for it. We need to establish some siege while you have a character like Abathur on your team. And dealing with Abathur, usually you want to siege up against him as quickly as you can. So, and luckily they have the potential to do that. What with a Greymane and the Felsa. I keep bringing those two up, but it's true.
So in the bot lane here, we're gonna get the dive in onto Murden. Murden getting down to about a third of his health. Gonna get the stall onto that third win coming out from Toronto with that owl.
Sorry, I saw something bizarre in chat. Aero of the Storm is my hero.
Oh, is that Valkymer?
That would be Valkymer, yes.
Yeah. So you were mentioning about this siege camp in the bot lane. Oh, they're doing it! Oh, they did it!
Oh, wow.
I was just gonna say that. Oh man, I was gonna say so the bot siege camp, they took it because of course this camp or tribute is in the bot lane, so there's no real value to waiting on it. The value was certainly waiting in the top one, but they left it exposed, and that left Imperius to say, you know what, I think this is open. We didn't see a Malthael for a long time. I bet that we can get it, and they did.
Amazing. I love it. Buff Chen, you guys are great. You do me a favor and do the Abuther. I love it. Anyway, so big stun coming out onto Tyrael, and he goes down. Malthael might not be long for this world either. Idioms is gonna be in a bit of trouble here, but he manages to get away with the Elun's Chosen being put on him from Toronto. SVX juking that Lunar Blaze too, or Lunar Flare actually. Lunar Blaze is the talent, which our friend the AFK healer chose.
And we've got Abathur up here working on the body soak in this lane. Does have a mine able to scout out when Idiom's coming up there, allowing him to walk away safely.
Excuse me. My goodness. Red team's bruiser camp was scouted out a little bit there, but they're not on it. Don't worry, Toronto.
So the second tribute coming up here, and you know, having that first tribute being secured for Buff Chen pre-10 is so valuable to them.
Oh, big time. Especially, and picking up a curse like right out the bat, not curse, excuse me, a tribute right off the bat while you have an Abathur also puts him in a very good position. Here comes a big stun onto Dangstrom. He's in trouble. Another stun follow-up, and it's actually going to be Greymane going down first. Vala in a bit of trouble as well. The rest of Buff Chen is going down slowly and painfully. Stunned onto SVX, but he's going to maybe make it out? I don't know. Uther heals coming onto Sosa, though. The team fight was very split there. And Sosa manages to make it out, but two of their friends could not.
And that's kind of how you would expect those fights to go at this point. With a 5v4, right. You don't really have the Abathur like clone available. Vala going down to 15 health, which is why you saw the rest of the team get so aggressive, and why Greymane died was because he dove right in to try to get that kill. Yeah. But ultimately, the rest of the team said, "Hey, you know what? If we can't kill her, she's out of the fight. Let's kill what we can elsewhere." And they got a couple kills. And that Uther, you know, the Uther, I think the Uther's a bigger problem for them than they realized going into this. And you know, they still had the one pick left. They went into Malthael, so spreading that dot damage, they could have easily gone into something like Lunara. But Malthael has better survivability and gives them a little bit more frontline to work with that Tyrael.
I cannot play melee heroes to save my life, but when I'm on Uther, I do like I can do it. Like, I don't care. I like walking up to people on him. I don't know what it is, but it's Uther only. Anyway,
tribute spawning in 10
cheeky
seconds.
Boss play bottom. Look at this.
Yeah, and that was a calculated risk, but not too risky for them. They had the kills, and they had good damage on it. So They are going to let the tribute go in favor of pushing
I
this.
like this.
Yeah,
I do like this.
They do have level 10s on the other side now with buff Chen, and that tribute doesn't end up in a curse because they got the first one.
Right. Yeah, no, I like that a lot. I think that's an excellent play. We've got to siege up against an Abathur if you're going to do... If the enemy team has an Abathur, siege up as best as you can, and what better way to do that than a boss? Big cleanse coming out onto Muradin as he's being focused down a little bit, but the boss is just pounding this fort. Looks like they're going to call for retreats. Real Ultimate Mosh Pit, that is. And Visible Malthael looking for something sneaky here, but nothing doing. Let's talk about some ults here, or heroics, whatever you want to call them. What do we see? What do we got?
Well, we do see the Sanctification. We've got the Mighty Gust, so interesting synergy with that there. We've got Cursed Bullet once again. I think Cursed Bullet is maybe a little bit more valuable with this because they've got the Muradin, Imperius, and even really the Uther. Tyrande going into that Shadow Stock and Last Rites, which, given their team, is probably just fine, right? I mean, that Last Rites is going to get them a lot of value.
Of course. Big stun onto Tyrande, but she's fine. Last Rites goes down onto Muradin, but he makes it out alive barely, and Vala peels him off using the Rain of Vengeance twice. Sanctification comes out to prevent any further stuns, and Imperius getting caught in the middle of the entire team of Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Following up slowly now is going to be Uther going down from Malthael. Malthael might actually be in trouble here. Vala's got her Quivering Arrow on him, and she's looking to clean house with these Uther heals from his, excuse me,
Benediction?
No, Devotion?
No, Benediction was a 16. Yeah, Devotion probably, yeah. We can,
wow.
We can take a look.
No one has picked up the tribute here.
Yeah, Devotion.
Oh, it's going to be Rolf the Dog. I think that Buff Chen's just going to back off for a minute here.
Yep, as they are about to potentially lose this middle fort as well, and it is important to note that Abathur does have Mule. But this is a map where typically, you know, you don't, when you get a structure, or when you get damage on a structure, you're usually able to finish it thanks to the curse value on this. So not to say that Mule is not the right pick, because it honestly is still a fantastic pick. But relative to some other maps, I don't think it gets as much value.
Okay. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that's a good point. Most of the damage here is going to be permanent, but Mule's not bad. It's not a horrible choice. I like this. Once again, sieging up as 5 top. There's not a whole lot they can do about it.
And by 5, he means 4.
By 5, I do mean 4. Malthael's there. He's just checking out the boss.
He's anchoring.
He's chilling with him.
Oh, the vision just went right over Abathur. I mean, they're not close enough to do anything about it, but it's interesting. They do
Olden
know where he
days,
is.
Tyrande could have killed that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep, stacking those L's. Here we go. Looking for this
Curse point. Let's go.
Clone at some point, and they have pressure in the top lane. Trump is getting damage onto that fort. Abathur spreading the shields around, and here comes the clone onto Imperius. He does get the charge in onto Tyrande. The leap in, her Haymaker back. The Gust, however, is going to give them the disengage. They're going to pop the Sanctification as well. But there's the Imperius again. Actually, that's the clone, followed up by Imperius. Getting those double stuns, and there's the Divine Storm. Gonna take out Malthael. Almost able to take out Tyrael as well. A lot of damage going in onto Vala, but the... what's that called? The Abathur clone able to get some healing. Or not even the clone, just Abathur able to get some healing.
The hat. The symbiote, however you pronounce that. Chat, how do you pronounce that? Symbiote? Symbiote.
Yeah. So,
all right, curse point in favor of Buff Chen. Big place here. Let's see.
And expect to see a Mule coming out on this top fort because, you know, right after I said less value, they don't quite get that kill on that fort. So it's going to get something somewhere eventually.
Yes, as a matter of fact, Mule is up right now as we speak. Let's see if he uses it. There it is. Top fort going down in favor of Buff Chen. Now you'll notice their siege isn't particularly spectacular. In comparison to
the siege of
Mosh Pit
is pretty heavy, which is another reason why the Juice Pirates thing was potential. Murden coming in on the other side of the wall, but they do get the wall taken out. So this is pretty good value for them. They're getting soak in the mid lane, and that's it. So that's the one area that maybe they could have gotten a little bit more value from. They get one fort, so they're still behind on structures overall. Although somebody could come down here and sneeze on the bottom fort, and that'll go down.
Symbiote, thank you. That's what I thought it was.
All right, and they're calling for the movement over to Falstad.
False Daddy, what are you doing?
We got a rotation of 5. Clone is available, so doesn't look like they're gonna get anybody locked down. Both bosses on the table. The wave is pushed up pretty significantly in that top lane for buff Chen as well. So it looks like they are gonna go ahead and get started on this boss. And picking up that siege camp, it looks like buff Chen making the same call, going to their boss. Both bosses will be going right into keeps. But we mentioned siege not super great on the side of buff Chen, so it would not surprise me if we see them go straight up here. Gust is available, Sanctification is available. This, if they can get there quickly enough, they may be able to steal this.
Pale Horse is gonna probably allow that to happen, but here comes the team by Gust. Oh, here we go, Gust him out.
Hit everybody, but the last rights, and now Uther going down as well. The boss secured and stolen. Just too much time on that siege camp in the bot lane, and all of a sudden now they've got a boss in the bot lane, boss in the top lane, which is going to finish off that fort, and they're going to start clearing up top. They have no deaths. I don't think they can quite get the keep here, but they, I mean, they might. They have a lot of siege. They got a boss coming in. No, I was talking about top keep.
Top keep, probably. Take a look at this. They have Greymane. It's level 16 as opposed to 15. I think they got it. This is a keep. This is not definitely not a game unless they find 2 picks here. But keep for sure, I think.
Well, they don't have clone available. They don't have the angelic armament, so some heroics down 16 versus 15.
That's okay. You in for these. Easy.
And oh, look at this. There's a tribute coming up. And that would give curse over to the real ultimate mosh pit. So this is a tribute that buff Chen cannot leave, and I think that they need to leave this boss. It doesn't, you know, it'll die to the core. They need to get onto this point, and they've only got 2 seconds before it spawns.
Yeah, they're not going to make it in time.
No,
I think
and they're
this
not
is
16, so yeah, they're probably gonna have to just defend and start those prayers, right?
Here we go. Abuther, don't let me down.
Indeed, Farron has a, what is it, a master's degree in English literature, I think?
Oh, she's a maester at English?
She's a master.
She's a maester, baby.
All right, here they come. So Falstad flying in behind the Murning has the haymaker about 3 feet. But Rain of Vengeance does hit 3. There's the Sanctification going out. That's helpful. Thistledew in the back there trying to get what he can out of that clone. But is about to go down. SVX, though, gets that Curse Bullet. Big Divine Storm, but there's the Gust of Wind putting Cage into the back line. He's going to go down, and he doesn't have level 20, so he's not coming back. And with just the Murd and Vala, there's still a lot of damage potential out of this team, but they can have Greymane work on this core. This could very well be the end of this game, especially with that kill onto Murden.
Yeah, this looks like a game in favor of Trump right now. Avatar alone, Thistledew can't do anything about it. This little Locust isn't going to help too much. There it is. GG's being thrown out. Well played by Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. A lot of fun this evening.
Let's take a look at some of these stats. So, Rek, what do you see out of these stats?
Well, I have to load for... Oh, okay, here we go. Greymane with the top damage on Trump's side, but actually the top damage overall was Vala, and I have to... I did see that she did, they fantastic job of finishing those kills, especially during the curse points. Other things that I noticed, once again, siege damage coming from Real Ultimate Mosh Pit here. It's just no surprise there that they have the top 2 for that. Yeah, I really like what I'm seeing here from Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. They looked like they had a pretty solid understanding of what they could and could not get away with. Their early game was a little shaky, admittedly, but they held together and they figured out what it is exactly that they need to do against an Abathur, which can be very scary on this map. I'm actually wondering if, for Uther, if the Hammer of the Lightbringer was the pick at level 1, because I'm taking a look at their comp again, and it's very pick-oriented, very team fight heavy, as opposed to the macro-heavy comp of Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. And I think that was ultimately their undoing. A macro-heavy team is going to perform better against an Abathur than that of a more team fight-based one. So I think, once again, kudos to Trump for figuring that one out. So I'm wondering if, he should have taken that reduced E cooldown at 1, because you'd be able to potentially secure more kills with that, with the reduced cooldown stun being repeatedly used, and allowing for more chaining, especially with Benediction at 16, which he chose Tears Deliverance, which is fine if you want to be a main healer. And a solo heal Uther and maybe an Abathur isn't easy to pull off. That's not easy to do. So
well,
I like the idea. But, yeah.
Let's hop over to Lobby 5 in NGS as we're going to get our interview here. All right then.
All right,
Psychic's here.
Yes, I am.
Aero's here.
Is he?
See who we can get.
Aero, hello, you there?
Hello.
Hello there. Welcome, Dankstrom. Congratulations on your 2-0 victory.
Well, thank you. It's refreshing. It's a nice change of pace.
So how has the season been going for you so far? Actually, you know what? Let's not talk about depressing news. You just won 2-0.
No. We can talk about the depressing season because my team demanded that I use a certain phrase to describe our first part of our season, which is one pump chumps. We're glad to get past that because we always kick everybody's ass game 1, like absolutely demolish them, whether it was POTUS or Murkies or anybody else, and then choke game 2 and 3. So my team demanded that I say we are finally past the one pump chump phrase. We thought about baseball a lot today, and we got the win. So that's for synchrony and idioms. You're welcome, guys.
There you go. Well, fantastic job. You guys had Greymane in both games, and so we got to ask. I mean, does Rolf play any other heroes other than Greymane and Rhaegar?
Oh, Rhaegar. He's never played Rhaegar before.
I was just going based on the name.
Oh, Ralph the dog. No, that's actually kind of funny. But no, it's just something that's worked for us recently. He actually plays several other ranged assassins. If you'd watched some of our other games, you'd see him on some other really good things. We just enjoyed it. They left it up for us today. So it was that and Chen. Take Chen away from them.
Are you suggesting that Buff Chen has an interest in playing Chen?
I would assume that Buff Chen would have picked him if they had any interest to play him, since we literally last picked him out of that whole draft. But I don't think he needs any more buffs. Please don't listen to their team.
No doubt. So that first game, I really liked your draft. You had the Greymane, the Chen, the Anubarak, Anduin, and Hanzo. And, we talked about... there was one play in particular that I thought was phenomenal. And I want to talk about that, which was the bot lane. After you get the Frozen Punisher, it goes in on the fort, it leaps onto Johanna, and you guys demolish the team. Like you took that flank, and you dove in onto the Ragnaros. The team kind of split off, got Kael'thas and whoever their other DPS, Lunara, I think.
Lunara.
Got them really scattered themselves, and then just kind of systematically took them out. What went into that play? Like, was that just a, hey guys, follow me, like let's do this, or was there some prep for making that call? Because right before that, I had just a minute or two before that, I said these are the things that they would have to do for this stuff, and then you were like, hey, by the way, let's do that kind of stuff. So I'm interested to hear
I don't know
your planning.
Which stuff you guys are referring to was making it work, but what happened is we get that they have a full wall up. They have a Ragnaros, so we need to interrupt that Ragnaros. So I just say, hey, everybody, like you said, follow me. And I was like, what? Yeah, just follow me. Come over here. We're diving the backside. Ragnaros actually sniffed it out. Very smart on, I forget who was playing that, but he dropped a meatball down through there and scouted it out. I think they panicked at that point. Oh, shit, they're coming this way. and they just weren't able to stop us. Johanna took the Punisher leap, so she couldn't interrupt us, and we got the interrupt on the Ragnaros Molten Core, which was the most important part of that. After that, I think we demolished them and actually turned it into not only a fort and a keep as well.
Yes.
But I don't think if we don't get that Ragnaros interrupt, that's a really dicey spot for us.
It is. And what I was discussing with Rek at that point a few moments prior to that was we were talking specifically about Greymane and his ultimate selection going into the Cursed Bullet as opposed to the Go for the Throat, which it worked for you guys. Obviously both games it was super value the second game. I thought Go for the Throat was maybe a better option based on the team comp they had. But what we were talking about was how you make that work with the Johanna about because you had a great CC chain between Anub'arak dives and Dragon's Arrow and all that, but you got to get her to use her Iron Skin first. So my thought was, hey, wait for the Punisher to leap onto her. Now we've got her taken care of, which ultimately is what happened, right? She's out of the fight, can't really stop, like you said, can't stop your advance, and then you're able to take out her team because she can't do anything at that point. And they're all scattered. So that's what we were talking about.
Okay, yeah, makes it work.
Yeah, so Rek, do you have any other questions specifically or things to talk about from game one?
Yeah, just one. So I noticed actually during the matches, the first match, that both teams, both of you guys, were doing a lot of 5-man, not a whole lot of off-soaking, and I'm wondering, was there any particular reason for that? Were you guys looking for kills? Were you looking for picks and stuff like that? Or did it just so happen that both of you were doing these things?
I just think we knew we had a better team fight and a better team in general, and so we wanted to find them and fight. We had plenty of times where side soak. We have Idioms, who's a great offlaner, and he knows how to soak 2 lanes, keep going back and forth, and forth, and take care of that. So we had that. They actually, I think we were botting the Ragnaros so hard they matched him up with Lunara eventually.
Yes.
So it wasn't bad at all. I don't think. I think we wanted to look for the team fights because we kill them. So.
Yeah, no, I'm not criticizing. I'm just wondering. I was just pure wonder.
Oh no, I'm not taking a criticism. That's just our
sure.
thought process, I think.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine.
It worked well, right? I mean, like you said, they caught on pretty early that Chen v Ragnaros was a very bad setup for them.
Yeah.
And to the point where we saw him ping that he was leaving, and he was gone before Lunara was like, oh, I guess I better go up there. It was pretty one-sided in that. You guys had great rotations. You were really good about paying attention to the map, seeing when they took something, you took something else, and always a little bit ahead. The boss play, game 2.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
That was great.
We knew exactly what was going to happen as soon as we got that. And we knew they were going to be late.
Well, exactly, right? Because they went to their siege camp, and they finished that shortly after you started the boss. But your siege was just so much better. About halfway through, I said, you know what? They've got Sank, they've got Gust. And it was a little dicey, got a little close with the timing as the boss wasn't quite dead when Falstad got in there.
Oh, that's okay. We see the guys. We holy ground on top of it, so we didn't. I just wanted them off the point because we were going to kill it as soon as we got up, and I just holy grounded it and won it because Imperius actually sat at the very back of that, so the Gust wasn't going to catch him. It was good play on the Imperius's part, but ultimately we just needed the holy ground on the point and just needed the rest of them off of there for a little bit.
For sure. So, questions from chat, or I guess one of them is a statement. Mega Muffin, Hots, you go Trump, but my captain still hates you guys.
Wait, who's their captain?
I'm not sure.
What team does Mega Man play for?
I'll tell you in about 30 seconds when Mega Man responds. And then Himibo asking if you've scouted Minion Miners. You may be familiar with Minion Miners. They're a miscellaneous team in Division B East that nobody really knows about.
Minion Miners, I think we might have played them earlier No, we played Murky Hit Squad. So, I mean, whatever team we'll play, we'll probably scout to some extent. But,
If you haven't played them yet, not yet.
No, not yet. But I'm sure we will.
Very cool.
Sure. Well, are there any teams in the Division B East that you are looking forward to playing, either because it'll be a good challenge for you, or that you enjoy playing, or just... whatever rivals?
mostly just jailbait because we unfortunately had to forfeit against them. Was not what we wanted to do. We had a sub that was supposed to show up and just didn't. Like, we didn't get a message, and so we couldn't even get a
Ouch.
last minute thing set
Oh,
up,
no.
unfortunately. So we actually want to not have that forfeit. We actually want to have a real game against them. But that's going to have to wait till playoffs now, I guess.
All right. Well, getting 2-0 victory, giving you 3 points, puts you up here a few levels on the scoreboard. So, that gets you into a better position for playoffs and more likely to catch them there.
Yeah, and if, actually, who I want to play is anybody that's one of these supposed analysts that I guess don't watch any games and keep ranking us bottom to last. You talk to any of the captains, and they're all like, "No, yeah, this is a good team." In the real Ultimate Mosh Pit, but they put us dead last because we take games off HOTUS, we take games off Murky Hit Squad. The very first guy, Ziltoid, actually said Trump has a bunch of new returning guys that have been off for 8 months. If they get their crap together, they'll win this division. I think he's the only guy that's actually recognized any potential we've had.
Well, I think there's a lot of potential out of Division B on both sides, as we've seen, early on, we've seen teams that were expected to be at the top, being beaten by some teams that they thought would be at the bottom, some teams at the bottom beating, mid team, like all kinds of things where, kind of circular wins where it's just thrown up in the air and it's like, Jax, you may be too young for that reference, but
I may be too young. I'm probably older than you, so
we'll have to talk about that later.
Yeah.
So that's that's all I've got for you, Rick. Do you have anything else that you want to ask of Dankstrom?
Not particularly. No, I think just my only other question in game 2 is you guys picked Tyrande with no other real setup. Was that just for interrupts on potential it's like with the owl on potential curse points, or was it just a comfort pick? What was that?
I think it's just something we wanted to play.
Oh, okay, cool.
Honestly, that's all it was. It's just something we're like, hey, I think this will work, so let's do this.
Okay, sure.
So actually, I do have one other question that's related to that. Was there any point that you considered going with Juice Pirates into that?
I mean, we talked about it before the map started, in fact. So we did. I've done no lies. Anybody watching this to scout can, yeah, we actually talked about it. So
it looked really
could have been super fun.
Yeah, it looked really close, like that you could go into that. Especially, I mean, the heroes that you had did a lot of siege damage, right? Greymane, Falstad does pretty decently. Until you ripped the Malthael, I was like, maybe they still, even with Tyrande, maybe they still do it. I don't know. But I think that, going into an Abathur comp with Juice Pirates probably is one of the quote-unquote easier ways to make that work. But you didn't, so that's fine. It was just a thought I had. We're gonna wrap this up, so the floor is yours for any shoutouts.
Shout out to all those casters that would give us any respect. My team, AFK Healer, for coming and being our actual 5th finally, and everybody else that came out and watched. Thank you for doing that. Hopefully we'll continue to get this going on to a winning streak, maybe.
Excellent. Well, there you have it. Please don't play Juice Pirates by Hemibo of Minion Miners. All right. Well, Dankstrom, thank you very much.
So wait, what's the Minion Miners? What was the other thing you guys were asking me? It was Minion Miners and Mega Man. What team does he play for?
He didn't respond, so I don't know. You'll have to do a little bit of soul searching there. But Hemibo does say that you play against them on Monday.
Do I? Okay.
For Minion Miners, just so you're
I have no idea. Minion Miners, yeah. We'll scout you, Hemio, whoever you are.
Fair enough. Dankstrom, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Congratulations again on your 2-0 victory. Please tell your team that we wish them well in the rest of the season.
Yeah, so I'm supposed to message you about age later? What's this about?
Well, that's what we were just talking
Aero's
about.
like 50, so don't worry about it.
Oh my god.
50?
No, I'm 39, so...
Okay. You got me beat by barely.
Yeah, okay. I'm the grandpa of NGS, okay?
I'll join you, the great uncle, then.
Fair enough. All right.
Thanks for the cast. See you later.
Have a good one. All right. ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap us up for this match between. Oh, I didn't even put the thing. I gotta give them the 2-0. They gotta get the point. And there it is. All right, so that's going to be the end of this cast between the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit and Buff Chen, between Aero and my good friend over here, Repsychic.
That'd be me.
Repsychic, anything you want to say to the people before we close things out?
I love you. I'll be thinking about you in my dreams.
That's not creepy at all.
No.
But you know, fair enough. You know, I appreciate that. I hope they're positive dreams, not like, you know,
No,
end of the world
positive.
Apocalypse kind of things.
No, nothing like that.
So, for everybody else out there, in 14 minutes, you can come right back here. In fact, you know what? I'm not even going to turn off the stream. I'm just going to put it back on the main page there, give you a little bit of music to listen to, as in 14 minutes, we are going to see the next match, which is going to be between Spooky Ghosts and formerly known as Running with Turtles, now known as Reborn Knights White.
Ooh.
And that is a Division B West game. So we're covering Division B tonight. Repsychic, thank you very much for joining me tonight. I hope you
Thanks for having me.
have a good rest of your evening and get a good sleep so that you can dream about all those wonderful people in NGS land.
I will do exactly that.
All
Hit
right.
me up at BlizzCon, guys. I'll see you there.
There you go. We'll be back in 10 to 15 minutes or so.